I reminisce about the love we had. I reminisce about the love we had. Tender moments seem to go so fast. Reminisce, reminisce. I reminisce about the love we had. I reminisce about the love we had. A love so strong it will never pass.
Love Park Connection.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
How you guys doing today? So thank you again for joining us.
Yep.
And today we are going to talk about... we are going to talk about the life of a musician's wife.
Yes.
But this also can carry over into if you have, a spouse who is always on the road. So it can kind of help those folks too. So Before we get started, let us introduce ourselves. Welcome to Love Park Connection, where we talk about the pains and pleasures of life, love, and relationships.
Yep.
My name is Angela Parker.
And I'm Pierre Parker.
We are a husband and wife marriage and relationship coaching duo. We've been married for 27 years and together for over 30 years.
Yep.
And it is our goal to help couples communicate more, love more, and build healthy long-term relationships.
That's right.
So please remember to like, share, and subscribe.
Yes. Please do that.
So, babe, what do you think about the topic today?
Oh.
This is one near and dear to your heart, huh?
Yeah. And I get to ask all the questions.
You get to ask all the questions. Now, we did do a condensed version on this on one of our walks and talks that we posted.
Yes, we did.
But we're going to, just elaborate a little bit more. And again, like I said, this topic can also be helpful to the couple who has a spouse or, that might be on the road a lot, that if their business is or their company requires them to be on the road, this maybe can resonate with those couples and maybe give them a better idea or help them with those rough patches, because it can get a little complicated when one person's on the road a lot.
Yes. Yes, it can.
So, but before we get started with the questions, let's give a little context to how we call this the life, or excuse me, what is the life of a musician's wife?
The life of a musician's wife.
So, Pierre and I, when we first got together, he's always been a musician since we've been together. But when we first got together, he was on the road a lot, and we had to learn how to. He did too, and because he wasn't used to being a married man, or even before then in a serious relationship where he was on the road a lot. So we both had to learn how to deal with long distance and him having to, also work a regular job and be a father and a husband. So this was new to both of us. So over the years, we've had to learn how to navigate this uncharted territory.
Yes.
Anything you want to add to that, babe?
It was very interesting. It was very interesting. Actually, let me say it wasn't as hard as I thought it probably could have been, and that's all because of you.
Oh, I get some kudos.
You get a few kudos, just a couple kudos, and maybe a brownie point up in there somewhere.
Okay,
but it was all because of you. Because you could have made it, more difficult, and you could have been, now I need my time. You ain't here. You could have been like that, but you wasn't. You, like you said, the key thing one time when we first got together. This is once I started martial arts and I was doing that stuff and doing a lot of time with the martial arts and music. And I remember you saying, "Look, I wasn't here when you started the music, so I can't say anything about your music, but
Okay.
I was here before martial arts. So
That's right.
You're not going to put that before me.
That's right.
So, that made a lot of sense. And and the whole part of what you said about the music, yes, music was here way before you.
Yeah.
And you totally respected that. Mm-hmm. You never, made me have to choose between doing music and you.
Right.
So that made me respect you even more.
Okay.
So that, look, your little head getting all big and things. You about to float away. I'm about to grab you by your feet and bring you back down
Back
here.
down to earth, huh?
Back down. But yeah, it made me respect you even more because, like I said, you could have been the one that was like, no, you going to give me that time. I need all that time. And no. You could have been like that. But you wasn't.
Okay.
So that's what made me respect that, respect you even more on that.
Well, thank you, baby.
So
what questions do you have for me?
well, let's see here. Let's see.
Making all that noise.
This whole booklet of questions. Okay, being a supportive partner in a crucial, is crucial in a relationship.
Right.
But it can take a unique form when your loved one is a musician.
Yes.
And how did you navigate the demands of the career while maintaining your own identity and goals? How did you maintain that?
Well, in the beginning, I didn't have a lot of my own personal goals, of course, because, we got together when we were younger in our, mid-20s. Mm-hmm. And by then, our son was around. So really, I didn't have a lot of goals at that point because I was focused on Tyler. I was focused on maintaining a home, and you were gone so much that it didn't give me a lot of time to have my own personal goals. Mm-hmm. Now, as time went on and you slowed down, particularly you weren't doing the martial arts as much. You were still gigging, and you still gig to this day, and you still do studio time to this day. But as time went on, you slowed down a little bit, and that allowed me to have my own personal goals, such as I went back to school and got my degree. I did that competition, that fitness competition. And, those were took up a lot of my time, those two goals right there. But then also finding what I really liked, because a lot of, again, in the beginning, a lot of my time was taking care of you and Tyler and the household and stuff like that, and going to work. So, that was my main focus.
Yeah, she was a superwoman, y'all.
She
is a superwoman.
Oh, Lord. Anyway, but you graciously, even while you were still on the road, you were so supportive and kind of pushing me to, find who you are, find some hobbies. You'd always say that, find some hobbies, figure out what you like to do. So when I finally started thinking about, okay, well, really, what do I like to do? You were very supportive. So that did help me want to pursue those goals and, do more outside of being a wife and mother.
The balance between, supporting your dreams and pursuing your own, as well as the sacrifices that sometimes come with it. What do you say about that, as far as the balance that you had to?
So the balance part, that was a little more difficult because I was so focused on just family. I think by that time, by the time I really had to, by the time I really started focusing on balance, you know, a job was just a job. It was no longer a career to me. It was just a job. It was a means to an end. So I've never really had to worry about, okay, how do I balance, you know, that whole work-life balance. It was more, okay, how do I balance home and trying to find who I am. So I think that's really important for, you know, not just myself, but women in general, to learn to balance home. And if your career is a big part of who you are, then also balancing your career, but also making sure that you figure out who you are outside of your job and outside of being a wife and mother. Who are you? Because like I always say, your children will eventually grow up, get older, move out, don't want to be bothered with you.
Yes.
And your career at some point will come to an end. Or you might just get tired of, like, I'm tired of work and I'm tired of, you know, giving my, you know, my life to a career. So you need to find what makes you happy. And so for me, it was about finding what I enjoyed doing as Angela and not as Mrs. Parker or, you know, Tia and Tyler's mother.
Yeah.
I had to find out what made me happy, and I'm still navigating those waters, trying to figure out really, you know, on some level, I'm a little bit better. You know, when you get into your 50s, you're like, you know, you have a better idea of who you are and what you want. But I've had to really sit and do some soul searching on who I am and what I enjoy doing outside of being a wife and a mother.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get to the juicy questions that people, like, that these women out there are waiting to hear is, girl, how did you deal with him not out there, you know, just, you know, cheating on you? How you deal with that?
Well, and it's interesting because in my book, I do talk about, you know, the life of a musician's wife, and that's one of the questions that I try to answer. And it might not be the perfect answer for everybody because you're a different type of man or a different type of musician, I'll say that. You don't drink, and he never has. He doesn't do drugs, and he never has. He doesn't smoke, and he never has. And he never gave me a reason to think that he was cheating. And maybe because in the beginning, he would do things to, you would do things
Well, you're speaking to them, so it's okay. You can say he. I know who you're talking about.
So, yeah, you would never do things to make me, well, you would do things such as you would call me frequently, you know, because in the beginning it wasn't all that texting and all that. It was, you know, it was calling on the phone and keeping in contact in that way. And yes, you were gone, you know, quite a bit even during the week, mostly on weekends. So you'd leave Friday and come home Sunday night, or you'd leave Thursday evening and be home Sunday night. And that was most weekends in the beginning of our relationship. But you would contact me, and we would talk very frequently. If you weren't setting up for a gig, or you weren't doing sound check, or you weren't breaking down and quickly going to the after parties just to socialize a little bit, that you would be back in your room and you would call me and we would talk, and you would tell me, you know, you would talk about what was going on and what happened and, you know, how the gig went and so forth. So you kept me very informed on what you were doing. And because you weren't out there drinking and doing all the other things that could get you caught up, you know, you never gave me a reason to think that you were cheating. Now, again, you are an exception to the rule. So I am very blessed for that. I can't say that about all musicians again, because I don't know all musicians, but you are an exception to the rule. So you did make it easy, but you also, because just because you don't drink and do drugs and all that, didn't mean that, if you wanted to, that you couldn't find time to go out and, get one of the groupies. But you didn't, because you reassured me. You kept in constant contact. And so on my end, I had to reassure myself and believe that what you were telling me was the truth. And until something said otherwise, that I had to trust you. So it was both on my end and your end.
Yeah. And that's one thing. I didn't want you to ever think that anything was going on. I didn't want you to not trust me.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And you did an excellent job. So.
Yeah. Sometimes I'd sit there and be talking to you and fall asleep as I'm talking to you.
Yeah, that's true. You would be. And
you're like, babe, huh?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's the juicy one that people want to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what's it like, when you would go to some of the gigs, and how would you feel, basically around all of the people and all of that, and how did you deal with that?
Well, I am not the most outgoing person. I have more of a laid-back personality. I always say that you have enough, you talk enough for the both of us. So
yes,
I
do. Yes, I do.
So I don't have to socialize as much, but it gave me an opportunity to see you in your element. It gave me the opportunity to, see how you are around, your musician friends, or how you are around the fans, and how you interact with them. So that also taught me, even though I didn't do it to the extent that you do, it also taught me how to be more open with folks that I don't know. And 9 times out of 10, your musician friends and even the fans are very nice. They were very nice. But it just, I don't need to be in that element. I'm very comfortable behind the scenes. But it just allowed me to come into your world and learn even more about you, and learn more about how that whole industry, for the most part, how that whole industry works. So it was, it's been a learning experience. I've been able to see things and go places that, I might not have done just on my own. So it's allowed me to be able to do some things that I might not have done.
Okay. So what was it like when you first got in a relationship? And like, was you the groupie girlfriend? Was you all this? I mean, I know these questions. I know the answers.
No.
But I'm just putting it out there.
No, but I wasn't. I've never been the groupie girlfriend, I guess.
Yeah,
no.
The groupie girlfriend.
No.
Were you the girlfriend that would like carry his stuff with him?
Oh, see, now you just trying to start stuff.
Yeah, were you that girlfriend?
No.
Yeah, see, y'all, you said what I was dealing with?
No.
She was just selfish. She wouldn't even carry my drumsticks and not just selfish.
I carried your drumsticks and I carried the fan. But no, I would not. Because by the time 10 o'clock hits, and you were doing them late gigs in the beginning of our relationship, and by the time 9 o'clock hits, I'm turned into a pumpkin because I am not a night person. So no, I was not carrying no drumsticks or anything.
Literally, it would be like this. I'm going to the car. I'll be in the car while you packing up. And by the time I would get to the car after packing up, she'd be in there asleep. in the car. And that was quite often.
Yeah, it was. I just, and because you like to talk a lot, so you'll stay.
It's
No,
called networking.
I understand that, but
Networking.
I understand that, but in the beginning, I didn't understand. So now, what do I do if I'm gonna go to the gig? Sometimes I'll take
Listen
my
to
own
this,
car.
y'all. See, you hear that?
I'll take my own car.
Let's say that again. You'll do what?
I will take my own car.
She takes her own car.
I will meet you at the, when it starts, because you have to be there so early.
Yes.
Why do I want to be there?
That's
and the
true.
show's not going to start until 7.
That's true.
And you got to be there at 2. I'm not doing that. So I will take my own car and meet him there, and then when the gig is over, I go home, and he can socialize as much as he wants without me getting on his nerves. So that's our agreement, and it works fine.
Yep.
So what else you want to put out there and try and make me sound like I'm a bad wife?
Just the bad wife. Didn't want to carry my stuff. Didn't want to help me. I'll be tired. I'm tired after the show.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, can you carry it? No, I'll be in the car.
Hey, I was just being honest. So what else, baby?
But that was interesting though. But I respect you. I was like, okay, that's all good. That's all good.
So let me ask you.
What?
How was it in the beginning being the musician who now had a wife and a son and other responsibilities? How did you balance it?
By the grace of God. I look back at it now and I'll be like, I have no damn idea how I was able to do it.
You did it. And then we were not even throwing in the karate that was intermingled for what? 10 years?
Probably.
So it took you 10 years to get your black belt, just about?
Then we're not throwing in the movie making.
Well, we're not doing that. We just talking about the music, because the two big elements were the music and then your karate.
Yeah.
The movie stuff came a little bit later, but we're not even talking about that.
Yeah.
But how? Okay, so you said by the grace of God.
By the grace of God.
Okay, what about the long distance? Because you were gone, sometimes you were gone from Thursday evening to Sunday evening.
Yeah.
How was that being away from us so often? How did that impact you?
Well, you see, I was calling you every minute I could when I could.
Yeah.
So that just lets you know, I was like, I got to keep up with my family.
Yeah.
That's one thing my dad had always said, you make sure your family comes first.
Right.
Make sure your family is taken care of. So I always wanted to make sure, I checked in, make sure the family's fine.
Right.
I had good friends and people like that who, kept an eye on you guys. You probably didn't know it, but I had people that would keep an eye on you if I wasn't able to get there, like the time when our son kind of lost his little mind and was talking out the side of his neck.
Right.
And I was across country.
Yeah.
That's when the village came in. That's when his uncles came over and got in his ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at my request, I was like, look, your nephew was talking out the side of his neck, so I need you to go kill him until I get there.
Oh, my gosh.
And
Until you got there.
And once I got there, I kill him again. So, I had, things set in place like that.
Right.
But no, that's basically what I was doing. I would, try to call you as much as possible and check on you guys and stuff like that.
Right.
And that kept me
being
sane.
Being able to focus on what you need to focus on, which was, while you were out on the road doing your music.
Exactly. So this ain't my interview. Just your
I know.
interview. Stop trying to flip the script.
But some guys who may be new musicians and are in the same, or even like I said, even if it's you have a spouse or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, who are in a long-term relation. I mean, excuse me, they have a job that has them out of town a lot, or they're traveling a lot. This is some of the things that, they might be going through as well.
Yeah.
Just because they're not a musician doesn't mean they're not tempted, doesn't mean that they, don't get lonely, doesn't mean they, don't miss their family. So just kind of...
And it's not to say that the temptation wasn't out there.
Oh, no, I know it is.
There's a lot of temptation out there,
right.
But I had to, stay focused on priority, you know. You have one night of fooling around, and the rest of your life is probably tore up.
Right, right. You've lost that trust and that.
Exactly. You've lost your ride or die.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's hard to come by.
Right.
There's a lot of people out there that tell you that's out in them streets. They tell you it's hard to come by that.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't want to lose my ride or die.
No. Look at you trying to get you some brownie points.
And you quit flipping the script and it's back on you.
Okay,
girl.
All right. What else?
So let me see what else is on this paper that I might want to think about. Yes, I have a sheet of stuff that I might be asking her.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see. This question here. Let's see. Despite the unique challenges, there's a beautiful harmony that can be found in a musician's relationship. Can you tell us about some of the most rewarding aspects of being a musician's wife?
I think some of the most rewarding aspects is that you're so creative, that your mind thinks differently. Sometimes I have to look at you sideways on some of the things you come up with, but you're very, because your mind is so creative, you do think and look at life a little differently than I do, and your way of thinking allows me and gives me the opportunity to think in a different manner. You open up you open up different aspects of how life could be, life should be. You just look at things differently. So when you're looking at things differently and you come back to me and talk to me about them, 9 times out of 10, I'm like, oh, I'd never thought of it that way. So you just give me another way of thinking about things that are going on, and not always looking at not taking something at face value, but looking, as they say, looking at it outside the box.
Yeah.
You take things seriously, but then you have a very unserious, I don't know if that's a word, but an unserious side of you. So there are some things, yes, you take seriously, and I have to say, you don't need to take it that seriously, but there are a lot of aspects of who you are that are not, you don't take yourself so seriously. You're a very humble man. You're very, you do think a lot about other people. And I think because you're a musician and you like to entertain and bring joy to other people's lives, that you are able to not take yourself so seriously. And for the most part, not take things that are going on in this world so seriously. Like I said, you have a unique way sometimes of looking at things, which has helped me to grow as a person.
Oh, okay. And so the whole, you don't have a problem with the whole conspiracy theories. Huh?
You like going to that one, huh?
Because look, this is a side note. I actually like being called a conspiracy theorist. I like it.
Because he likes when his conspiracy theories come true.
That's right.
He doesn't say it, but I know in his head he wants to tell people, I told you. I told you. He doesn't say it, but there's some things that in the past that he said, and then when it pops up and they, it's shown to be not what they made it out to be. And I'm like, damn it, you were right.
That's right.
So even though I look at him sideways, I'm like, somewhere down the line they're going to prove his theory is correct. So, but anyway, that was a side note.
That's a whole segment. That's another podcast that I might have to set up one day. P's conspiracy theories.
Anyway, go back. This is about me, not you.
No, now it's about you.
Yes.
Look, you was trying to flip the script a little while ago.
But you went off on a side note
That's true.
Okay, go ahead.
That's because I got to set people up for future segments or future podcasts. See, you know what I'm saying? Future.
Go ahead. Next question. Do you have any more questions?
Yeah. So, as far as being around musicians, because I know you've been around, a number of different musicians and things like that, and we just, most of them are my crazy partners and things like that. But what is your take on musicians? What do you think about them? And you can be blunt as you want. You can be like, I think they all, except for P, I think they all assholes.
No, actually, I like your musician friends. They are always really nice. They're just real laid back. The ones that I've met. Now, granted, you know so many, musicians, and I've only met, I'll say compared to how many I've only met a handful.
Yeah.
But the ones that I've met, I really like your musician friends. They're really nice. They're, most of them love to talk. That's one thing I notice about musicians. Y'all love to talk.
Yes.
But they're just really cool people to be around. And I've never sensed any arrogance. Again, the ones I've met, I've never sensed any arrogance. Y'all just it seems like musicians, y'all just enjoy having fun and enjoy doing what you're doing, and y'all just it's almost like you're like, I don't have time to worry about bullshit. I just want out here doing my music and enjoying myself. So I really like your musician friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. They like you.
Even though I don't carry your music equipment.
I be trying to get them. I'm like, man, why y'all like her? She don't carry my stuff. No, don't like her. No, don't do it. But what else I'll say? What was the out of all the shows that you've been to? What was the best show that you felt you've seen?
Oh. See, that's
really put you on the spot.
You sure did, because I can't.
Yeah. I know you've been to a bunch of them.
I have, but.
And you've seen me play with a bunch of different people.
I have. Honestly, I can't say there's one, because I've seen you with different groups. And you've been with those groups. Some of you have been with them for a while.
Yeah.
I'll say that I like when I've seen you for the first time with that group.
Okay.
So I can't say there's one particular group that, because also you play different genres. I can't say there's one particular group that I'm like, that was the best group. I think, and because some it's top 40, and then some of it's your own original, some of it's tributes. So, and they're all great. All the groups that you play with are very professional. They know their shit. They're, you guys really mesh together for the most part. And so honestly, I can't say there's one group over other that you've played with that I've liked better.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a safe one.
I know.
That's safe.
You're not gonna get me caught up. Gonna see the other groups and be like, oh, okay. Oh, you like so and so, but nope. I think all the groups you play with are very professional. You guys are a great group of musicians and singers.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
But I will say what I don't like is when you have all these photographers taking pictures and they don't barely get the drummer. So that's where I come in.
Yes.
So I have.
Yes, because all of her footage, when she films, all her footage is usually me.
That's right. You're the unsung hero of the group, and so I want to make sure that the footage I get, that I look at, is going to be of my husband.
Yeah.
I'll get bits and pieces of everybody else,
Yeah,
but
bits and pieces.
But, just so they can see the context of what you're doing and, but for the most part, 9 times out of 10, when they're taking pictures or you have some photographer out there taking pictures, I don't see the drummer. It's like, oh, okay.
True.
Y'all can't see the drummer back there. He's got the most damn equipment.
Yeah. Usually we tuck behind the lead singer.
Exactly. Exactly. So
it's all,
I have my loyalty.
I understand. I have my own, for videographer.
That's right. That's right. All right, baby. So let's wrap this up. You have any more questions?
You have any tips and takeaways for, young ladies or women that are in this position that are in relationships with musicians or marriages with musicians?
No.
You have any tips for them?
Yeah, I would say if you come into the relationship and he's already a musician, respect that. Mm-hmm. Yes, he needs to give you his time. He needs to give you quality time. But you also have to respect that if the music was there first, then respect that. Try to engage and be a part of his world. Mm-hmm. And yes, you should, want him to be a part of whatever world you have. Mm-hmm. And if there are problems or you have concerns or you're feeling neglected or he's not, you don't feel like he's spending enough time, be honest and open with him and have a discussion without the attitude. Mm-hmm. Just, state how you're feeling. And, let him know and don't let him know in a manner where he's going to be defensive. Mm-hmm. But just let him know, hey, I need to talk to you. I'm feeling this way. Use I statements. I'm feeling, like we're not spending enough time together. Mm-hmm. I'm feeling, so he doesn't immediately put his defenses up. And this goes for if you have a mate that his job, he's on the road. Yeah. And this goes for men too, because there are women. Yeah, women are. My previous position, I was on the road a lot, and we had to. You had to. It was roles were reversed, where you were at home, by yourself, a number of days during the week. Mm-hmm. So we had to also learn to communicate. And, make sure that we stayed in constant contact while I was out on the road. So It's just a matter, again, everything goes back to communication. And if you're feeling some type of way, then you need to communicate that without the attitude, without the pointing the fingers, without being judgmental. Mm-hmm. And the other person needs to listen to your concerns. And you guys, if you want to make it work, you have to learn how to listen to each other with an open heart and an open mind.
Exactly. Okay. And fellas, like she said, it goes for you too, because there are guys out there whose women or, wives or girlfriends, they're a musician. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the guys are just, I don't want to say regular, but they're not musicians.
They're not musicians,
and
right.
They have to understand that part of it too.
Right.
You have to understand that, just like she said, if the music was there first, if you came into her life and she was a musician first, don't try to change her. No. Respect that. Right. And try your best to go along with it. Right. And see if you can support her in the things that she's doing. Right. Exactly. It'll only make the relationship better and stronger. On your end, stronger on your end. Exactly. In turn, she'll respect you and support whatever you're doing. Exactly. So we are going to wrap it up. So thank you guys again for joining us. And baby, thank you for the wonderful questions. You're welcome. Hopefully this has helped, some couples.
So please remember again to like, share, and subscribe. And also, please sign up for our mailing lists at loveparkconnection.com. My book, 30 Years and Counting, will be coming out. We're pushing back the date. We're going to actually push it to December 9th, which will be our 28th anniversary. So we're pushing it back to December 9th, but there will be a period where you can pre-order and get a discount on the book. And I will be sending out information on that. So please, again, sign up for the email list so you guys can get that information at loveparkconnection.com.
Yep.
All right. Anything else, babe?
That's it.
All right. Thank you guys again for joining us. Bye.
Bye-bye.